Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the MLG Studios in New York City. I'm Axel Toss, joined by Axel. We're currently watching WCS America qualifiers to determine which 8 players are going to get into Season 1 to join the existing 24, of course, the Premier League. Very important matches we have in our hands, and a very important game coming up, the deciding game between Hwangsin and Apocalypse. It's going to be on Daybreak.
Of course, Hwangsin taking that last game with his trademark 2-base timing. Daybreak, another map. We saw him use that, not the same 2-base timing, but a different one, incorporating double Stargate play along with the Colossi to take Game 2 against Bad Cop. I think we actually might be pretty likely to see him use that same strategy here against Apocalypse.
You think he will? The 2 Stargate thing?
I think we could definitely see him use it. I mean, it seems like one of the timings he likes here. Of course, Daybreak not quite as great for those fast 2-base timings because of the length of the map. So
right.
Perhaps we can go for a little bit of a later one, like the double Stargate play.
All right, here we are in Game 3. It's going to be on Daybreak in the bottom left-hand location. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Red Protoss player on Team Quantic Gaming. He is 1 win away from advancing to the Premier League of WCS America. His name is Hwangsin. His opponent in the top right-hand location is the blue Terran player, who is also 1 win away from qualifying for the Premier League of WCS America. And he is also a member of Quantic Gaming, and he's also a Korean player joining a foreigner team. Can he make it happen? It's the Terran player, Apocalypse. All right, Mr. Nick.
So, I'm trying to think of the different things that can cause Hwangsin to choose that build. And one of the big ones I'm thinking of is, you know, he loves his 2 bases, right? One of the biggest threats to a 2-base Protoss is those drop counterplays. Because the most important aspect of a 2-base all-in is your ability to continually reinforce it during the battle via a lot of warp gates. And if you lose your economy, it's not just making your attack all in like it would for a different race. For Protoss, if you lose your economy during your attack, it actually makes your attack much weaker as well. Because you don't get those warp-ins.
You don't have meals.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is that your economy directly impacts the battle. As opposed to other races
where it's like production.
Yeah, where it'll impact the units a minute from now. Protoss impacts units immediately. So I'm thinking Daybreak is a map where those drop counters are such a powerful response to any type of timings that normally we don't see Protoss even go for timings on Daybreak. Or if they do, it's a really early gateway one, trying to catch opponent totally off guard before they have enough bunkers, before medevacs even come into play.
We're already seeing him not do what he did against Bad Cop, at least in the early stages. Oh, look at this. He's just going for the start.
Not proxied this time.
No, well, you're right.
Yeah.
But as far as the game that he played against Bad Cop,
oh yeah.
On Daybreak, he went for the very fast Zealot Stalker Mothership Core, and he tried to sneak by his opponent and do some scary stuff to the natural. But this time, going straight for that start.
This is really interesting. A reactor factory opening versus a Stargate opening. Both players can be looking to do a lot of nice harassment. Of course, the Hellions can try to run by and potentially even get into main if there's no sentries there, if the Stalkers aren't correctly positioned, as well as just provide great scout information. But on the other hand, because he's reacting on Hellions, his air defense is going to be a little bit weaker than it would otherwise be, but we see him right now building those Widow Mines to help supplement that. 2 Hellions going to be used to scout for proxies.
Yeah.
And then scout for the expansion. I don't think he's actually going to try to commit to going into main.
Yeah, I don't see. There's too much risk, I think.
Yeah, and 2 Hellions can't one-shot probes, so you're not at that point where you can really potentially do a lot of damage. Oh, sees no Nexus.
Oh, he's going to try to do it.
He's committed now, though. But you know what? He got past the first 2 Stalkers. Yeah. He's going to at least get a couple probes here.
You see the Stargate as well, so that's going to be relatively
helpful. 1 probe goes down.
Oh, picking up the Hellion.
Yeah, great move there. Great move. 2 probes total.
3. Maybe a scouting worker.
I wouldn't say that was a failure, though. I mean, yes, 2 Hellions for 2 probes is not a good trade for the Terran player at this point. But the scouting information is invaluable. The fact that he knows that it's a 1-base Stargate, and also the fact that he knows there's only 1 warp gate. That's very important because he knows it's not a 1-base Stargate all-in.
Yeah.
It's just 1-base Stargate harass.
So this is pretty bold from Apocalypse. He's seeing his opponent go for the Stargate opening, and he's putting down the Armory, which I think means Hellbatch, which means Hellbat drop. But there are Phoenixes in the air, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really intriguing decision from my point of view.
Well, I don't think he's going to look to do the draw play so much. Maybe
Just incorporate them into
Yeah,
his...
he could be looking to do a timing.
But I feel like whenever you get this fast with a starport and armory, it kind of has to be a Hellbat drop. I mean, why not just delay it in favor of economy and stuff?
It's a very good question. He definitely could be looking to do the drop, or maybe just wants those medevacs to support a later timing attack he's going to do. But you're right, normally you would add maybe a barracks, additional barracks first before that. Because he won't even think about attacking until he gets stim pack. That's for sure. And that's going to be a little ways off, so you have plenty of time to get those medevacs. He is going to look to do maybe a double Hellbat drop, and if he can sneak around the Phoenixes, this can be extremely effective. Not continuing to produce Hellbats, though, actually.
One does not simply, my friend. One does not simply. This is the Frodo Baggins medevac.
Yes.
Gonna try to
sneak
his way past the enemy defenses.
The Phoenixes are heading up to the top. They're gonna miss it, though, I think.
Oh, barely missing it.
Oh, nicely done by Apocalypse, sneaking that by there. He doesn't have any Widow Mines in his... Oh, he does have one in his main. Nice. That's a sneaky Widow Mine in the main mineral line.
Oh, where's Waldo? I don't know where it is. Oh, I see it. In Umber Road. Okay.
Oh,
here comes medevac, Mr. Nick.
The Phoenixes are coming back. They suspect something's amiss.
They smell
There's
something.
only a sentry. The Hellbats can jump right on top of the sentry.
That's what they're going to do. Goodbye, sentry. You're dead. Oh, maybe not.
Very fast reaction to the sentry. It's still probably going to die, though.
Yes. Here comes the Phoenix, picking up the Hellbat and using the last Phoenix to try to take down the medevac. And
I like that play. It should be to run down the medevac even with the Ignite Afterburners. A very, very solid defense. I mean,
somewhat fortunate that his Phoenixes were in the area.
Only that single sentry kill.
Because let's imagine if the Phoenixes were across the map.
I don't think Apocalypse has gotten the memo that Phoenixes are good against drop play.
Yeah.
I don't think he's realized it. He says, you know what? Okay, Phoenixes killed that medevac. Let's send another one.
Well,
and you know, it could work. It's not that it can't work. As I said, it's so risky.
It is very risky.
Because, yeah, like we saw last time, the Phoenixes are there. They're going to shut that down totally. This time, where are those? Oh, they're all at the... Hwangsin says, okay, he dropped from that side. There's no way he'll drop to the same side again.
Or you're just saying, oh, he's not going to drop again. It didn't work the first time. But maybe that's what Apocalypse knows that Hwangsin is thinking.
He also has his army buys natural, so he really wants to cover the main. There goes the medevac, going for the main. The Phoenixes find it. They're taking it down. One Marine drops out.
I was looking at the one at the natural, and yes, the one in the main is cleared up. But the natural Widow Mines. Oh my gosh.
That is brutal.
That's top play. Nominee.
That is brutal. And it's not even done yet. The one in the main, Hwangsin doesn't see it. Another 2 probes go down.
Okay, I want to click on this Widow Mine in the natural. Where are you, Mr.
They all died to the Observer. There's an Observer there. So yeah, so the Observer
well,
was MVP
19
there.
workers killed.
This is just brutal. And you know what I really like? Apocalypse building that second starport very quickly on as part of his follow-up, even before 4th or 5th barracks, which is a perfect response to seeing both Stargate units and Colossi.
All right, so Apocalypse getting a good amount of damage done with the medevacs when his opponent opens Stargate and has 3 Phoenixes on the field.
Oh man, and Apocalypse is getting double upgrades too. He's almost 1-1 and he's working on a second attack, and Hwangsin, of course...
No upgrades, right? Because he's...
Yeah, and...
Or maybe 1
Oh, he has
upgrade.
1 armor.
Yeah.
But you can't really get a lot of upgrades because...
You're limited to 4 gas on 2 base. You're going for Colossi and Stargate.
Yeah, that's so gas intensive to get both those units. And typically it's okay to not get very many upgrade units, because if you take out all the Vikings with your air, even without upgrades, Colossi will slaughter Bio. But they won't slaughter the Bio if they all die to Vikings. So that's why he's getting that very fast second starport. But Apocalypse, you got to use that second starport, man.
He's not using it?
There we go. There we go. Finally building a little Viking there. So now he
moved it way over there. Originally he had it, according to Hwangsin's vision, above the barracks, and he moved it all the way to the right. That's pretty interesting.
Or I think Hwangsin just saw the 2 Stargate. He saw that's the same Stargate, starport. He saw it once early, and then it moved, and then he saw its second move, but he never got his vision far enough.
Oh my gosh, my mind hurts, but I believe you.
It's a little bit of a funny situation. It can do that sometimes. But 2-2 upgrades on the way. Hwangsin is going to have to pull Miracle out, I feel like. As long as Apocalypse builds Vikings. All right, Apocalypse, as long as you build Vikings.
Well.
There we go. Second Viking. Third Viking.
Is it a resource issue?
I mean, it is a little bit. It's because he's prioritizing Marauders over Vikings. So, which it could be trouble. Let's take a look at the total units right now.
Okay.
There's 8 Phoenixes and 3 Colossi.
7 Vikings.
Yeah, he needs a lot more Vikings. He's really got to make sure not to miss any Viking production.
Hwangsin has stopped pro production.
And he's getting the Viking attack. I like that. It's a great upgrade to help them take out those Colossi.
Right.
And he's continuing upgrades. All Apocalypse has to do is just, he doesn't even have to defend a third. 2 base to 2 base.
Abandon the third.
Yeah, he'll easily win because his upgrades are so far ahead. He just needs to wait until he can get a lot of Vikings. He needs, like, with his upgrade difference, he could have literally half the ground army of Hwangsin after the Colossi are dead, and he'll still win.
Because if we're looking at the number of units here, 10 Phoenix, 4 Colossi, if those are out of the equation, aka if Apocalypse just builds a ridiculous amount of Vikings, there's only 3 Stalkers, 2 Sentries, and 5 Zealots. Since when was the last time you saw 2 Sentries, 3 Stalkers, and 5 Zealots win a StarCraft 2 game at the 15, 16, 17-minute mark?
Especially with 1-1 upgrades versus right now he's at 2-2 is Apocalypse. Continuing that Viking production. I have to admit, I would like to see him actually be building 4 at a time. But 3 at a time is still fine. He should be able to get enough by the time Hwangsin hits the time. And he's now at 12. Ideally, he'd be up 20-25.
So he's got to stay away from the Stalkers. He's going to scan.
Yeah, and to scan sees 5 Colossi. That's a very heavy commitment to Colossi.
And he knows his opponent's only on 2 base.
Yes.
Because he has this Marine drop at the 3rd, seeing nothing there. Is he going to try to engage in the middle like Mr. Bad Cop did?
Oh no, don't do that. Poor
now
Apocalypse. He's got to get out of there. Sacrificing, a good 10 food data to Phoenix Gods.
Yes.
And that's okay. He still should be fine.
I, for one, welcome our Phoenix Overlords.
Yes. And he's giving up the 3rd. He's doing everything just right now. He just needs to stay in a very defensive.
Drop cleaned up at the natural of Hwangsin, by the way. That medevac went in, but died.
One of the great things about Daybreak and the reason why these 2-base timings are a little bit tricky is because no matter what, Hwangsin has to go up a ramp to get to the natural.
Yes.
And you can get such a great spread if you hold the place on top of the ramp. I almost feel the bunkers aren't as good a defense as a great concave would be.
This is a great decision from Apocalypse, too.
Oh, it is.
Immediately pulling up that 3rd orbital, retreating the SCVs, and continuing with the Viking production.
Yeah, just needs to really, really crank out those Vikings. I mean, he just needs to turtle until he's maxed. And he's far enough ahead with those...
Hwangsin took a 3rd.
Hwangsin took a 3rd. What? This is two... Who replaced Hwangsin? Did he swap out and someone subbed in for him? Or could this be he realizes that's a very tough position to defend?
Maybe this is his plan all along.
Could be. Now what he's going to do, Hwangsin wants to fight as soon as possible, but he doesn't want to charge into a poor position. So basically he's going to wait for Apocalypse to move out, and then that's where he's going to want to look for that engagement.
Oh, 1 Phoenix might get taken out. Phoenix has to be careful.
Yeah, he does. I mean, with 9 range, these Vikings pack
just
a
1
big
volley,
punch.
and I don't know the math, but
it's very dangerous to harass with Phoenix against this. Now getting the Viking armor upgrade, that is the Viking armor is actually more important than the attack against primarily Phoenixes.
Yep.
It's a
Stalkers a little, but
exactly. The attack is actually, it only increases their damage by like 6%.
Oh my gosh, Apocalypse is trying to break into the middle of the map here, and
the units are kind of strung out.
Hwangsin is going to turn around and try to engage the Vikings, taking down the Colossi 1 by 1, but still plenty of Vikings there. Does Apocalypse care? I don't think so. Now that the aerial effect damage is gone from Hwangsin, this is exactly what Apocalypse wanted. But we do have Storm.
He's perfectly happy losing a lot of Vikings because, like you said, there's no Colossi.
Yep.
And once there's no Colossi, what are the Stalkers going to do?
How do you kill Marines once there are no
way
Colossi?
Too many Marines. I mean, the only thing Hwangsin can be slightly preying on is there's a low medevac count, so maybe we get some magic storms off. But of course,
his storm is only halfway done.
Yeah, exactly. He's got another full minute before that happens.
Does Apocalypse know? Question.
Well, the Stalkers try and do what they can, but they don't even have Blink because so much gas was dedicated to Phoenix and Colossi. There's an annoying Zealot, delaying the mind to the 3rd, but the real story is...
High Templar now. If he can go snipe that, if he can peel away some Marauders Marines and kill that High Templar Archives before Storm gets finished, it's game over. That's what he's going to try to do. Storm needs to finish. It's not going to finish. And there's the GG. Wow. What a fascinating game.
So my prediction was entirely wrong.
Not entirely wrong.
Oh, I
said
got to
go
get
to
you
game
right.
3.
Yeah, and Apocalypse game 3, he didn't make that overextension mistake that he made in game number 2.
Yeah.
Stayed defensive until he had the Viking count, and then once he had that many Vikings, Hwangsin's strategy just totally falls apart.
Yeah. once the Colossi are gone, like, what are the Phoenixes going to do, right? When there's so many Marines on the ground, try to pick up one Marine one at a time, it's not really going to work. But Apocalypse, very well played. Congratulations to the guy. Apocalypse is going to be playing in the Premier League for WCS America to join the already qualified Alicia, Revival, and the STC. There is your updated bracket. Of course, Com disqualified because he played on an account that wasn't his. There's Apocalypse, all the way on to qualified, of course. Coming up tomorrow and the next day, we have some more action coming your way. Lower bracket, Drunken Boy versus Hart. And then, of course, Top versus Crank from the upper bracket. That's going to be tomorrow. The next day is going to be Oz versus Alive and Maxed versus JYP. Every single day at 8 p.m. Eastern. That is going to round up our coverage for the qualifying tournament for the WCS America Premier League. So be sure to tune in each and every day. As far as what's next here, rules of engagement.
That's right. Rules of engagement will be coming up in just a few minutes. Of course, today I'm going to be looking at the MLG Winter Championship match between Flash and Bly. That was an amazing match. Bly played a great series, but of course, he was up against Flash, the god himself, and Flash does a lot of cool stuff in that series. Bly does as well. We're going to be analyzing the strategies and tactics used by these two players and how you can use those strategies back at home to improve your play.
Awesome stuff, guys. That concludes our coverage of the day for the WCS America qualifying tournament. Again, 4 players down, 4 players to go as far as who's going to qualify for the Premier League. Remember to tune in each and every day at 8 p.m. Eastern, and also tune into WCS Europe and WCS Korea, because there's pretty much 24-hour coverage of StarCraft 2 nowadays, which is absolutely awesome. Guys, this has been Aquatos and Axlab. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in a bit. Stay tuned with Rules of Engagement.